another new episode of Hanging with Hibbi. I'm here with Shamita Kates. It's funny how Shamita and I met. If you watched the One Piece episode with Kaylee, Chris, and Tyler, I just got her into K-pop, and I was introduced to this group that she's in with Shamita and a bunch of other people. And then from there, we just kept talking, and I'm like, well, the podcast was already was eventually happening, because if any of you been listening since episode 1, I like to bring up K-pop any sort of way I can. So this episode's kind of like, finally I get to do this. But yeah, I'm here with Shamita. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, we could start off, I guess, before we go into like the kind of like the darker like topics of towards K-pop, which we're gonna cover a lot of. We're probably going to like the lighter side first. So just like kind of like basically, how did you get into K-pop?
Okay. So I guess my first encounter with it was in 2010. I was watching a Wong Fu video. They
Oh
were
man, Wong
learning,
Fu
or they
Productions.
had just gone to like
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I
man.
think they had just come back from a Big Bang concert and they wanted to learn the dance from Bang Bang Bang, I think.
Hmm.
And I was like, who's Big Bang? So after that video, I looked them up and then I was like, oh, this is cool. Okay, so um this is K-pop, but along with a lot of other people, my first ever like interaction with it was Psy's song,
Oh yeah, the classic,
Gangnam Style.
the
But the
K-pop anthem. I have to say, nothing will ever top
Yeah,
it.
that was in middle school.
Yep.
Yeah, that was in middle school, so that was my first like ever hearing it, but fully like looking it up was in 2010. And then I don't know, after a few songs, I just for some reason didn't was like, okay, so this is K-pop, and I didn't explore or see like what other groups there were. And
Hmm.
then it wasn't until 2017 in high school, my senior year, I was watching the AMAs, and it was
Hmm.
for Top Social Artists
Yep.
Award. I see Ariana being nominated, Justin Bieber, and some other people, maybe Imagine Dragons. And then I see BTS, and I was like, who's this other group? And then they
Yep.
won, and I was like, okay, so who's this other group that I don't
Yeah.
know about? And in the background, you hear one of their songs. It was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, but at the time, I didn't know what song it was.
Hmm.
And I see them coming down, and I was like, there's a lot of them. And I
Yeah.
was like, who's this group? So I looked them up, started listening to their music, um, listened and read the lyrics and the MVs. I was like, oh, I was like, I like the message that they put out, and it's just really, they're telling a creative story. So,
Yeah. Awesome. And I guess me, because I was gone to K-pop like kind of late, but throughout high school I had like a handful of friends that were into like Girls' Generation, Big Bang, Winner, like that, like Shiny, like those groups at that time. I'm at the time I didn't kind of like really listen. They kind of just brought it up and like play a song to. I'm like I liked it, but I didn't really look into it. Wasn't until, oh my gosh, it was like 2017, 2018 is when BTS announced their world tour for like the Love Yourself tour, and they're coming to my city, Hamilton. I'm like, why not Toronto? Why are you guys coming to my small city, like coming to Hamilton? But then I'm like, oh, that's cool. But again, I didn't really look into it. And then then I believe the summer, yeah, around summertime, I finally just went, okay. I see like a bunch of, like on Twitter and Instagram, people like, what is like people talk about BTS, talk about all the members. I'm like, all right, what's because I'm really open when it comes to music and anything in general. Like, it's kind of like, oh, what's the hype behind this? Then I go on BTS mic drop. I'm like, I get it. I understand. Like, it's like, oh, they're so cool. Like, yeah, there's so
yeah.
many of them. And then I just after that, I just went down this huge rabbit hole of going through all like the BTS songs. Through like that was back when I think Love Yourself Tear just came out, or Love Yourself Answer, either one that like they just came
Mm-hmm.
out. So I just started from there, and then I see like, oh, you gotta listen to Wings, you gotta watch all the Run episodes. It just from there, you just a lot of
Yeah.
people get into BTS and just go down this huge rabbit hole of just learning what the members' names are, what is like their hobbies, like all that in general. And then from there, I just started being like, okay, what else? Like, what other K-pop groups are there? Then I think after that was I listened to Stray Kids was the next one, My Pace, and then Blackpink, and then 17, and then again just went even deeper down the rabbit hole of K-pop, and then listened to like a bunch of all like the what were the big groups in like the 2010s. So I say like that's kind of my origin story of with K-pop.
And when you like, when it finds you in different ways, you either get introduced by someone or you just discover it on your own, or you
Mhm.
hear like a song and like something, maybe
Mhm.
anything, and then you kind of, it's just kind of hard to leave once you get sucked in.
Yeah, exactly. And at first I thought like, oh, maybe I'll just listen to BTS. I won't like listen to the other groups. BTS is enough for me. And then for me, as someone who's like constantly listening to new stuff, I listen to BTS for like a solid like 3 months. I'm like, all right, what else is there? And I just like I try to like find different things, and I find different. Also, have found different K-pop reactors like Brisk Life, JRE. There's probably other ones I'm forgetting
Yes.
right now, but like that's how I also like found out different artists because they would react only to not only BTS but the other groups. So I'm like, oh, what is this all about? And then again, going through all of that. But yeah, that's like just it's funny with K-pop. At least for me, it's just you find how besides the music, how crazy the music videos are, and like how much production goes into all the music videos. Like that's the first thing I noticed is from Mic Drop. It's like this should just be in the middle of like Fast and Furious or something. You see something like like some like next level budget for it. Just to go into what is like some of your favorite K-pop music videos.
Oh man. Okay, there's so many. And it's, as we both know, it's so hard being a multi-stand because there's
Yep.
comebacks left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And as through our server, we're always like telling others, oh, this song came out, this song came out, and we're all like trying to catch up and watch everything. But I would say, oh man, for BTS, everything is really good. But I guess let me do, I'd say Fake Love because of the effects.
Yep.
I really like Fake Love.
And a lot of it's like practical, dude. Like they did all like
And it
the
was,
the cool
yeah,
scenes from it. They did it
practical
themselves.
effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When the floor is falling and he's
Yeah.
running, Jungkook is running, like
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no way that he's actually doing this." He behind scenes he has a
Uh,
string on him, and he's just running. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then like when the waterfall behind Jimin, that shot too, which is like that's crazy.
the only part I was questioning was when the phone disintegrates. He's holding the phone,
That yeah,
and the
that part.
phone.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it was Jungkook. Yeah, and the phone just like, yeah. I
Oh
was
no,
like, oh, I
that
don't know
was
for that.
I think that was V. That was V who did that.
The phone disintegrated, and then it,
Yeah,
it
I think
was
that
a
was V.
shot where it disintegrates, but then like butterflies
Hmm.
start. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so that one. A lot of my thing is like, what's the theme or like the color scheme or the aesthetic. So my all time fave will be Astros All Night, just because of the floral
Yeah, I remember you
and like
sharing
the
like
colors,
showing
but
that to
mostly
me.
because it,
It was really good.
yeah, I just like, it's just classic.
Hmm. Let's see. I guess BTS.
Let me see.
You have more?
Oh, I was gonna do a girl group because I
Oh
just
yeah.
realized I
Go
did
ahead.
two boy groups, but I didn't do a girl group. Um, oh man, maybe Kill This Love by
Yes.
Blackpink.
Hmm.
That one.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, at least for BTS wise, I think obviously Mic Drop is kind of like a no-brainer. It's like I feel like that's like the perfect like introduction into like not just BTS, just kind of like K-pop. Like this is what you're in for like with K-pop with like music videos and just music in general. Um, I'd say Mic Drop. Fake Love's really good. Honestly, like honorable mention for BTS is Shadow. I don't know why, just Suga's Shadow music video. Like something about when that first came out, I just on loop kept watching like watching over and over again because everything that they show on it just blew my mind. Like all like the shots they did for that. I'll during this recording I'll throw up like different like clips from the music videos. But yeah, I think that's the one that popped into my head like immediately for BTS was just Yoongi's solo Shadow, and that song too is amazing too. A couple of other favorites I would have to say Luna's. Oh my gosh, which one of Luna's? Luna is my favorite K-pop girl group. Um, for Luna, I think might be Butterfly or Hi Hi. Just the Butterfly because of just like the again all these beautiful shots and just like the message behind the song as well. Hi Hi is just like a let's have some fun, let's go. Like I don't know, just like anime music vibes to it. I love that. Um, Treasure Boy is another good one. I really like that one. Um, I can't think of any like right now on top of my head besides those ones, but I think yeah, those ones stand out. And also, all I was gonna say like a 17 music video. I'm like, which one though? I love all the looks of all the 17 music videos. They have like their own little story with like "Don't Want to Cry" is another good one. Oh no, the, um,
That's a classic. I
yeah,
love that one.
that's a classic one. Probably Twice "What Is Love" is one of my favorite like K-pop girl group like MVs. Just because that's my introduction to Twice as well was "What Is Love," and just like again, it's like this kind of hyper like
Oh.
really positive kind of song. So I'd say those ones are probably my favorites.
And they're going through like different movies too,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And then from there, and then at the time before Twice was my favorite music video, and like I probably like talk about it for myself because I think have you gone to K-pop concerts at all?
Not yet. I was supposed to see Map of the Soul 7, but then COVID
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'll go into it later, but just
Mhm.
like K-pop concerts. But before we do, we could talk about a couple of our favorite K-pop songs in general. Just like you don't have to pick like my all-time favorite, just like kind of just pick like a handful and maybe like just give your reasons why.
Okay. Well, this was off of like videos too, but Blood, Sweat, and Tears
Hmm.
for the audio and the MV.
Hmm.
For the audio, because there's that like I believe Jungkook, V, and Jimin, they just have really good like high notes,
Oh yeah.
like when it goes slower.
Hmm.
That part in the rap, I don't. That was like one of my first BTS songs too, so
Hmm.
I really like that one.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me see. For girl groups, lately I still have that weekly song stuck in my head
Oh
after
yeah.
school.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's just really catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they get you. Like they have like the chorus part be really catchy or something simple with English.
Hmm.
Like Blackpink's Last Summer was How You Like That. Like
Yeah.
that was stuck in my head.
Oh yeah. I think for like
Even though it
for like
was
a solid
different than
for
what
a
I was
solid
used to.
yeah, for a solid week, it was just like that song on loop, and then you go on TikTok, and it's just everywhere too.
Yeah. And a lot of people are using that song too who like don't know K-pop as well, or maybe they don't know Blackpink. And I was like, oh, do you know where that song's from?
Mhm.
To like use the audio. And
Do
then people in the comments are like, oh, you like Blackpink?
it's like, do you like Lisa? It's just in the comments.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites. I don't know why I didn't bring this up, but my favorite music I forgot, totally forgot, but I don't know why. I feel bad that I forgot. But NCT 127 Superhuman, that's like hands down my favorite K-pop song, because for me as this guy who loves Daft Punk, R.I.P. They just like it just feels like with like Daft Punk got a hands of working on a K-pop song, and just like that song, and then the music video too is mind blowing. I think that's still my one of my top stream songs on Spotify. It's such a catchy song. I still find yeah I go back into that, and then they released Save Me recently, and that's like superhuman on steroids. I like to explain, I like to describe it as. Yeah, I think that's my favorite K. Superhuman is my favorite K-pop song, and then again Luna Butterfly. That's another. I love that song too, and then
That one's a good one. Yeah.
uh BTS Tear or Dope. I think those either those two are like up there too with my favorite songs too.
Yeah. You got a rapper song, and then you've got like one with all of them.
Yeah.
With Superhuman, I like to pair Highway to Heaven. I think those
Mhm.
two go really well.
Yeah.
Not like together, but on my playlist, they just play next to each other. So
Hmm. I just love their genius video and them trying to describe Highway to Heaven without not bringing up like it's about about sex. It's like when you get together with your significant other and you just connect really well. I'm like, you go, Mark. You're trying your best out here.
that's another area we should talk about because
Oh my
there's Highway
gosh.
to Heaven, there's Make a Wish. We all know what that song's
Yep.
about. And then Love Talk,
Oh, love
Fuse You
talk.
Wavy.
I remember
Or
I remember when you show
SM,
you
we
sh-
see you.
I remember you like show. I forgot Love Talk existed until you like you showed it one day. I'm like, oh, I forgot the song existed. I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm like, bro, Lucas, you okay?
I had I had heard the song, but I hadn't watched the MV
Mhm.
a while ago, and then I watched it, and I was like, or I heard the song, but I hadn't heard the English version, and I was like, wait a second. Same thing with when Monsta X made an English album, they had this song called Love You, and
Oh
they were
yeah,
really trying so hard not to say that. And we were like, wow. They were even saying the song, I can't say it, but like I wanna love you. And I was like, we all know what you're trying to say.
it's like, oh, it's okay, man. You can just say it. It's fine. I guess I could like quickly go into cause you haven't been to a K-pop concert. We could talk about like what K-pop group you want to see live, but for me, I've seen what's it, BTS, Twice, and Blackpink. I've seen those three. I was supposed to see Monsta X and BTS last year, but COVID happened, which sucks. And I don't even know what's going on with like the Monsta X show because they've delayed it so many times. And they haven't really said like when's the next date. If they probably did, I just haven't really noted like checked. But it's kind of like, all right, just let me know, please. It's just like it's this date. Wait, no, it's this date. Okay, it's at this new venue and this new date. I'm like, okay, guys, please. I know it's tough because of you never know with like COVID and all
Oh,
that, but
yeah.
still. And then same with BTS. BTS just hasn't announced a new schedule yet or new dates yet for the show, which is understandable as well. But those are huge bummers. But yeah, BTS was an amazing show because that's kind of like my introduction to just K-pop shows in general. Because I didn't have any context of how they're like, and then I go, it's like this huge spectacle. Like, yeah, they're singing and dancing, but they have pyrotechnics going on, the background dancers, there's inflatable things coming out, there's like explosions going on, and it was like sensory overload for me, but I was having such a blast. It's the entire time I was just in awe throughout the entire thing. It's just they have to do this for a solid like 3 months or so. That's insane. Like that's like high respect.
I know you see like the what was the I saw one of their movies. I think it was Burn the Soul. Is that it?
Bring the soul. I think that was
BTS had one of the tour movies. Bring the
yeah,
Soul, yeah.
yeah,
Bring the Soul. And you get to see the behind the scenes of them traveling and then
yeah,
like, okay, so now we're performing, we're practicing, but then this is what we're doing when we're not practicing. And they're honestly just eating in their rooms, their hotel
yeah,
rooms,
yeah. I just love
sleeping.
in Burn the Stage, the first one. One of them is like at the time Yoongi's solo like next like album didn't come out, but he like was like in the studio working on I can't remember which song it was, but it's just him drinking red wine in his room, just silently like, what should I put here? It's just
Oh my
like I respect
God.
that. But yeah, that seeing Blackpink was really cool. They came to Hamilton as well. I'm like, why are you guys like? I'm not complaining, but also like I feel like you guys deserve Toronto, like the big city, not the Toronto's neighbors, Hamilton. But
I think I think I think groups that like haven't been to Canada might start off in a smaller
mhm,
town, like a smaller town first, and
yeah,
then maybe Toronto.
yeah, it's weird because when I was in line for the BTS show, I heard like different like people talking like, oh, I came from Vancouver, I came from like this part of like Canada. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, why? Like, again, I'm not complaining. Like, thanks for coming to my city, less stress of travel, but still, it's weird. Like, I'm glad this time around whenever they do a tour again, they're going to Toronto. It looks like a lot of groups are going to Toronto now because I think because they're kind of like I guess dipping their toes in like, okay, how big is K-pop here in Canada? Which is weird because a lot of like Shiny and Big
Mhm.
Bang, I think I remember right, they came to Toronto and that was like they played like one of the huge stadiums too, so it's like kind of a no-brainer. But it's good though that like everyone they kind of saw that Canada loves K-pop as well, and just seeing them like kind of grow into that.
Wasn't there something where like BTS performed at like Saudi Arabia or something? I feel like they went somewhere
Yeah,
in
they
the
went.
Middle
Yeah,
East.
yeah, they went to the Middle East.
Which was pretty cool
Yeah,
for those armies over there too.
yeah. I remember that being like we'll go into a layer of like controversy, but I remember that being kind of controversial when they're like, we're like they're going to Saudi Arabia. That's not like respectful, and it's just like this entire thing. I didn't like see like the entire backup, so I can't really say like my input on it. But it's just yeah, I remember that being a huge deal and kind of like the K-pop news at the time.
Yeah, I briefly remember reading about it, but yeah.
Hmm. Um, Blackpink was really cool too, at least for me, because they had a live band with them. And as a musician, for me, I was like, I feel like I was the only person in the entire venue was like hyped about the live band, because at one point in between like the songs, the girls would go into the back and change, so they have like the live band doing like guitar solos, keyboard solos, drum solos. Everyone's sitting down, and then just me like on the sitting up, like, yeah, go, keep going. I was just, I'll put some clips of it, but there's me screaming. You can hear me clearly screaming my lungs out, like getting hyped for like the drummer and the guitarist and all that. So those things, I love seeing that. And I guess when BTS did their Wings tour, they had a live band as well, and they did the exact same thing. So it's cool whenever they actually get like a live band with them to be with them on tour. Twice was really was it was a beautiful day, that scene Twice, because it was hilarious, because I had to go to Jersey, which is no big deal. I have family there, so I got to like visit family, also go to this concert. But I went to Jersey, and the entire row I was in was just a bunch of guys, and we were all just like, we were all drinking, just having fun. So they came on again. I'll put a clip. As soon as they came on stage, they scream, "Let's go!" And they went off. There's many times where you hear me screaming, especially when What Is Love came on. I was like, "Oh no!" That, like, yeah. So those ones, K-pop concerts are, if even if you're not a fan, if you just look up like videos of like K-pop concerts, you could just respect it, just like how much work they put into shows. And not to say like a lot of like American artists do the same thing here. They do as well, but K-pop artists, they go crazy when it comes to songs, music videos, stage, just everything. They go like another level with it.
The displays are like so impressive because I was watching, I think it was Map of the Soul, Persona, and BTS had that big bouncy house, that
Oh yeah, for
inflatable.
Anpan Man. Yeah, for
They're
Anpan
just
Man
like
as well.
having fun on that.
What's some K-pop groups you want to see in the future? Like, is there any like dream ones you want to go to?
Yes, for sure BTS. And then for girl groups, um, let me see. Yeah, Blackpink would be nice. Twice, maybe like Everglow
Oh, Everglow would be
would
sick.
be nice. For boy groups, I really want to see, I think it's ATEEZ.
ATs, yeah.
ATEEZ. Yeah, ATEEZ, I want to see them so bad. And Stray Kids.
Hmm.
It's the thing is also finding people to go with because I have a few friends who are into Stray Kids and 80s.
Yeah.
Um, like Peyton. Peyton says she wants to see them.
Yep.
Um, I mean, you can meet people at these concerts too. It's crazy how it brings people together.
Hmm.
Yeah, group from SM, so like NCT 127. The trying to think of ones that aren't as like uh oh, do you know SF9? I wouldn't
Oh
mind seeing
yeah,
SF9.
that'd be cool. I always get mixed up because there's like
Oh,
SF.
TXT. I want to
Oh, TXT, yeah. I always get mixed up with like, I can't remember again,
see
but
them.
there's like SF9, and then there's this Filipino pop group that trained in Korea, and it's like kind of a similar name, so I always get it
Mhm.
mixed up with those. I'm sorry, insert name here that I forgot the name, but yeah, like those guys, they like entirely like they're all Filipino, but they did their training in Korea, so like their choreos like is next level. It's so good. A couple of my favorites are a couple I want to see live. It's probably Luna is number one. Luna's like number one. I feel like I would like melt if I did see them. Like I would honestly like die happy if I got to see Luna live, because they originally made like a poll say like, where do you want to see Luna in like what city? And Hamilton was like number one. I was like, yes, yes, please come to Hamilton. I was just ready for that to announce, and then COVID happened. So I don't know if they're still gonna do like that poll of like who's like, if they're like what city they're gonna come to. But Luna, Day Six is another one. I'm so bummed that I can't remember if they did or not, but they announced another thing. My gripe with some K-pop world tours, they'd be like, we're doing a North America tour, world tour, and Canada is like none of the stops at all. It's like, come on, guys, please. So like I remember when 17 was gonna announce their last tour, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna, everyone's in this room going like, okay, they're gonna come to Toronto. I'm like, all right, because they did last time, I guess. So I was like, okay, there's no brainer then. But still, they didn't come this time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. But yeah, Luna, Day 6, TXT, Red Velvet. I'm so bummed I missed out on because that was like back when I started getting into K-pop, so I didn't really know anybody that were into K-pop like me. So like I was like, oh. I went to like BTS and Twice by myself, but still, I was like, it would be cool to have like someone to go with for those. But yeah, 17, Day 6, NCT 127, just to see. Just I love their songs, but if I saw Superhuman live, that'd be a nice bucket list like checked off. Um,
So you can see Mark and be like, "You're doing
you're
great."
doing great, honey. It's like you're not from my city, but you know you're close enough. That's like another thing I like to say. Like he said he's from Toronto, but I was like I'm from like so I say like yeah he's from my city even though he's not, but yeah it's close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those ones are
I'd
like
like
my
to see
top of my.
Dreamcatcher.
Oh my gosh,
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher would be crazy. I feel like they've been around for a while, and I feel like they deserve more attention because just how they
Yeah.
do their songs, it's at least for me completely different. Next to aespa, like they're going to like this other next level of like K-pop music. Like they mix a bit of rock with it as well, and with aespa they mix like a lot of EDM with their music, and I dig it myself. People have like their gripes with next level, I think it is. Yeah, with next level, but like me, I loved it.
No, I've been really enjoying them, and they had a completely different sound when they debuted, and I didn't know about till I came across a video and I asked one of my friends who's been listening to K-pop longer than me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like they're like probably the best group that's had like a completely different sound and went a different direction after a bit
Mhm.
being successful." And I was like, "Wow, I wouldn't have recognized this group." So
Yeah, I just respect when
we'll
groups.
have to watch some of their old stuff.
Yeah, I just respect when groups. Again, for me, who's like listen to a wide range of different genres, just seeing groups like take on another kind of genre besides like obviously pop, like TXT's is like I know I love you. Like that song is like prime example of them going another like way of like another different sound. For me, that blew my mind, and I watch a lot of K-pop reactors all
Mhm.
react the same. Like, what is this? This is like emo rock kind of, and I'm like, yes, yes, and I still think right now
I liked it,
that's
and I
like one
you
of
don't.
and then like that's one of my favorite K-pop songs this year, and also in general, just I could just respect it, and they're like quote unquote like rookie group, and they just do I think at this point they've been around for like 2 or 3 years now, so they're not really a rookie group, but like they're just like one of like the new groups that are coming out, and they already are like, all right, let's do something different now. I feel every comeback they did, it's just been different.
I mean, good for them. It's working.
Mhm. like just like to ask like what is like some of your favorite groups in general?
Okay, the ones that I'm like most listening to the most is probably NCT 127, BTS, and Blackpink. Um, and G-Idol. I've been getting into them more
Yes, yeah.
recently.
Hmm.
G-Idol. Hmm. And I listen to Luna too, but it's more Luna stuff I need to listen to.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do that. Let's do their comeback. That's just been a thing that's been on my loop for like the past like I think it's been 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks now since it came out. But yeah, that's been like up there.
The cool thing about like each group is they'll have a light stick, right? And it's so cool, like the creativity and work that goes into like making that.
Hmm.
And you don't know what it is till they release like a preview of what it's gonna be. And so I really want Dreamcatcher's light stick because it's like a staff.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
staff.
yeah.
It's a long like it looks like this would be, if anybody wanted to cosplay Maleficent, this is how you do it. You would just buy the Dreamcatcher light stick because that's what it looks like. Her staff and
Oh
it
my
lights
gosh, it
up,
does.
and it
I just
comes with a
pulled
cloak.
I just pulled up a picture
I
of
know.
it.
So,
That's crazy.
so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cosplay Maleficent and then buy a Dreamcatcher light stick. A good excuse to buy it.
Man, I want one now. That's crazy.
It's
Man, they
so
can't.
tall. It
That's a new
comes
level.
apart too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it. Yeah.
like a weapon.
Luna's light stick is tall too, though. The
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
scepter.
yeah.
It's a
It's like
scepter,
yeah, it's a
right? The
scepter. I was
Luna.
gonna say, well,
Yeah.
because you just have like dual wield both of those and just, just swing it.
There you go. Yeah.
I still think like one of the
So yeah, I
funniest.
really want that one.
I still think one of the funniest light sticks is just cherry bullets, which is just a gun. It's just-
Yeah.
yeah, I like that one a lot.
I
And
feel like Blackpink was supposed to be a gun too at first, but then they made it to a hammer like
yeah,
a
Squeaky
toy.
Hammer. Yeah, that's which is I think that's like big brain.
Yeah.
Like that's an awesome, awesome, unique light stick.
It's really cute. I want that one too. I only had the BTS Army Bomb, but like I
Mhm.
want the ATEEZ one because it's like a globe, like the world globe. I
Yeah.
think it looks really cool.
Hmm.
But they're just a bit expensive, you
Oh my
know.
gosh, yeah, they're insane how much they are. Any other groups you want to mention? Like some of your favorites?
Um, what about like solo artists?
Oh yeah,
Because
totally.
there's solo artists in K-pop. All right, so Wano, of course.
Oh yeah.
Loved him in Monsta X, but love
Yeah.
him as a solo. Love him even more in a solo because you just get to hear him and
Hmm.
in his style and what he wants to be.
Hmm.
I would say I think it's Sunmi. Sunmi.
So yeah, so me.
She's older. Yeah, I really like she's got like that disco pop sound,
Hmm.
80s kind of throughout her music that I really like. Um, I guess any of the groups that when they do solo projects, I really like Hwasa from Mamamoo,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Maria. That album was really good too. Yeah, I know you listened to Day Six. I think you said one of them had a solo
Oh yeah, Jay. Uh,
track or something from Day
yeah,
Six. Yeah,
yeah.
I still need to listen to that, but
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Yeah, we'll most definitely do that after. I guess I'll go into like my favorite like groups. We'll go into it later, like my hot takes, like controversial opinions. But like, as much as like BTS now, I guess go more. At least BTS now, as much as I like kind of have like my gripes with BTS now, I still think they kind of like have this like forever will be kind of like one of my top favorite like K-pop artists. Like Wings, the Love Yourself era, Seven. It's like you can't mess with that. Even though Seven, like, I have like some of my complaints with it, but I still like that album. Just like the entire Love Yourself answer is just like again, it's probably my favorite K-pop album, probably forever. Just like the time it came out for like personally in my life, and that when that album came out, that was like, holy crap, it's an amazing album. Um, Number two would probably have to be Day Six. Day Six is again, I love it as a guy who loves rock and like pop punk and like that kind of genre. That group when I first discovered them, like this is a K-pop group, and they're like, it's amazing. Um, NCT 127, and then Stray Kids. Stray Kids, I still think my favorite rap line is in Stray Kids. Everyone kills it in that, and Monsta X as well. Like both of the rap lines are just like you can't compete with that. And obviously BTS's rap line too. But like yeah, all those three rap lines for me, you can't mess with that. It's like it's you got competition if you try to beat them. They're really
Yeah.
good, and they also sing like they sing as well. So like they're not just rappers, they're singers as well.
Yeah, for Stray Kids and Monsta X, yeah, they both like sing and rap, which is cool.
Hmm. For girl groups, Luna will forever be up there, and then just seeing like them, cause I started getting to them around like I think when Butterfly came out. Then from there I like listened like because the Luna thing was like the girl of the month, because at the time when Luna came out, they showed a new girl every month for a year, I believe. So I listened to every like because so basically technically every member has their own solo song. So I listened to all of those, and then learning about kind of like when Hustle was on like kind of on a leave for a bit for mental health, and then kind of learning about that, and then them struggling with that, and then Hustle finally coming back for Paint the Town was just for me and a lot of orbits was wow, she's back, let's go. Yeah, Luna, Twice, Mamamoo, they're amazing. I love Mamamoo. For me personally, like I don't know if this will get me attacked by the fan base, but I prefer Mamamoo over Blackpink. Nothing against Blackpink, but like Mamamoo, their vocals are again like another level. I say that everyone could like sing their heart out in that group. Like every group can, but them, there's it's mind blowing.
Their solo projects, like each one of the member solo projects, has been really good too.
Hmm.
I know, like with some groups, if someone doesn't like them, it can be like a vocal or storyline aesthetic appearance thing, but sometimes it can also be like a controversial thing. So I've
Yeah.
met and talked with people who don't like Mamamoo because in the past they did do blackface, which is not okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I would say I think those ones are like my favorite K-pop groups. As of right now, it could change.
I know as new groups keep coming out, you're like, oh, I like that one too.
Yeah, it's
Adds it
crazy
to the
because
list of things that
there's
you already don't have time for.
there was like a solid. I feel like there was like a solid month, maybe two, of like groups were kind of like not releasing stuff. So it just kind of be like, what's going on, guys? Also at the same time, like we'll probably go right into like our next topic, which is kind of like the dark side of K-pop. But like when there's like not like a month or two of like groups not released, I'm like, okay, they're like taking a break or doing like their own thing, so they could just like don't have to be always on throughout the entire time. Just like for me personally, I find it okay whenever like, for example, when obviously Shiny really couldn't do a comeback because three of the members were in the army. So like for me, it's like I know it was tough for Shanels, but for me, I was like it was like fine when they like took that like kind of long break and then they finally came back. I can't think off the top of my head of other groups like that took a while. Day six, obviously, because I know Jay and I think Sungjin had took like mental health leaves for a bit. So those like I totally understand uh, for me because I'm just patient.
With Shiny, though, they came back and then Taemin left for
Yeah,
the
Taemin left.
military.
So I was like, awesome, they're back. And then I'm like, wait, Taemin's like 27. I think 27, 28. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like the. I feel like if I correct me if I'm wrong, or if anyone in the comments want to say like that's like kind of like their cutoff date to do like the enlistment.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I'm not sure
what
how it
the
goes, but
exact date is. I just know by 30, yeah, you're like gone. So yeah, I was like, oh, they had a comeback in a song. Oh, now he's enlisted. Okay.
and they
So
did.
they were together for a brief period.
Yeah, they have a Japan comeback like end of this month. They released one of the songs, but they have a Japan coming back. I'm like, how are they gonna do that now that Taemin's gone in the military? Like, how are they gonna do that?
Can they like pull people for a period of time? Like have them enlist, but pull them like back if they need to film something or no?
I'm not entirely sure. Like, I remember when Key first went to the military. I'm like, oh, he's back. He's gone. And I follow his Instagram, and he's like hanging out with like getting coffee and like doing all this stuff. I'm like, Are you enlisted? Or are you just hanging out, man? So like that, and then he's like, oh, he's back. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But it was like that those 2 years of him enlisting. It's just like I felt like he wasn't really. I could be wrong though. He probably did it, but it's for me. I only seen like through his Instagram just him hanging out.
The military, I feel like for Mark is gonna be like nothing because
I
he's
think
gone through so much being in five groups.
Mark is not like part of it because he's not originally from Korea. I think he's from Canada, right? So I don't know
Oh.
that applies to him. So he's off the hook. But I was
I think he's from the States.
mm-hmm,
I think he's from the States, but he grew up in Canada.
mm-hmm. So yeah, I think him
Yeah.
Johnny,
Well,
like other ones like
maybe it doesn't. Okay.
so he can't be like, oh
Because
man, I
he's
gotta
from
take a break.
Chicago.
Yeah, Johnny from Chicago, but
Ugh.
yeah, I guess now we could go into more of a serious topic towards K-pop and just like kind of the stands and everything in general, just like how crazy they
Yeah.
are. And I was talking to Kaylee earlier, and she was like, "Are you gonna bring up Ollie London?" I'm like, "I don't only give that guy the spotlight. Just like he's weird, get out of my face, and that's it." I think that's the best way we could kind of like cover that topic. But like, there's like crazy stands like him that go to that weird level with their obsession with the groups.
Yeah. I don't know where you want to start, but there's a lot of areas we could talk about.
Um, I guess going into kind of like the obsession some
Okay.
stands have towards a group. Just I guess this will go kind of like hot takes as well with me with BTS. Like I love BTS. I want to support them as much as I can, but for like the past since
Mhm.
roughly after 7 came out, I kind of had this weird, because with 7, at least personally for me, I was like, a lot of the album, it kind of like went by my head. Like I didn't really go back to it. I went through like all of the member solo songs. I think that's the only ones I went back to. Everything else I kind of just like whatever with. But after that, I had this kind of concern with them, at least for me, a concern of what they're gonna do next. And I'm like, don't worry about it. And the next thing you know, they're getting all this recognition and all these awards. I'm like, yes, awesome, that's great, they're doing it. But then it felt like this constant. They're always doing something, which probably an army is like awesome. That they're doing run, they're doing like all these performances and all that. But I feel like they haven't had really a break since 7 came out. It's like, at least for me, it feels like they just constantly promoting. And then Dynamite came out, and I was like, that's a catchy song, but it was like that's really it. It doesn't. I'm so used to like the intense like story is the messaging from Love Yourself and 7 and Wings. And Dynamite's kind of like this fun summer song, which is okay. That's okay. And then BE came out, and again, I dug the album, but I find like another thing like I didn't really like dig a lot of it, but still, again, that's like my growing concern with BTS and where they're going. And then Butter came out, and I was just like, okay, what is going on? Like, guys, like,
We were both we were both like, I don't know.
yeah, I remember in the group chat, I was like, yeah, it was so good, like Butter. And then I'm like, I had to like give it like a couple listens, and I'm like, it's all right.
We were like, we weren't like, oh, this is a terrible song. We
Yeah,
were just like, where's this going? We didn't
yeah,
like the sound was just so different. Um, yeah. So okay, so going off of your like 7, so for 7, I really liked the solo tracks, of course. I love that Jin got a solo track, like
yeah.
more music of just him
Mm-hmm,
singing, because he doesn't get a lot. He doesn't get a lot.
mm-hmm,
And so I liked Moon. Um, I liked the album. I think 7, Map of the Soul 7, goes along with Map of the Soul Persona. Those
yep,
two go together. And then after that is Map of the Soul, The Journey. So
yep,
those three like tie in. And
mm-hmm,
I feel like those three, the story was of about the 7 of them,
yep,
about being in this industry, how you navigate your way, dealing with the stress,
mm-hmm,
expectations,
yep,
the hate,
mm-hmm,
the love. Because there can be like, or there can be like some scary kind of like intense fans.
mm-hmm,
Um, so that's what I got from the album of 7, and I really liked how they did it. The Black Swan, they did the art piece. I was
mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is so different. They're not in
Yeah,
this. It's just like an art, like the first video, at least.
yep,
I really liked that. I liked that direction. It was so different. And I really liked On because of like the video. They have like the live band in the background,
yep,
and the choreography for that was insane. I was just it was just a bummer that that album did not get tour because of COVID,
yeah,
because I think it would have been like all sold out and it would have been really good for them.
yeah. I
Um,
remember getting tickets for them.
app,
It was crazy.
Mhm. I know, it was so hard. I was like tracking stuff on my phone, being like, "Hey, this is I need to be in the
Mhm,
queue line," and
yep,
things like that, and trying to get good tickets. But I agree. I think after when B came out, I liked some of the tracks. I liked Life Goes On,
mm-hmm,
because it was very much in the feels of, wow, we're stuck at home and we
mm-hmm,
can't go anywhere, and this is what we're living with right now. But when I'm listening to BTS during the week, I go to a lot of their old stuff. I'll listen
mm-hmm.
to Most Beautiful Moment, The Most Beautiful
Yes.
Moment, You Never Walk Alone,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of their old stuff, Too Cool for School,
Yep.
a lot of their old stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this stuff is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like their new stuff and they're experimenting in things. But would you say that they have kind of gotten mainstream now? Would you say that?
As much as I hate being that type of
When
person,
like a band is less known?
yeah, I hate being that type of person.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm like, I love that they're getting the recognition that they deserve, but at the same time, though, it's like, there's comes a price though when it comes to it. Like, I want to bring up like
Yeah.
seven
Yeah.
quickly. At least for me, seven was this huge love letter to Army. The best way I could describe it, especially like
Mhm.
the last song on the album, which are just saying like we love you, thank you, like all
Yes.
that. And I'm like that, like I was like rag on that album. That would make me cry. I was like, oh man. And then the music video too is like showing them like when they first started to now. It's like you're on this journey for us for 7 years, and it's just like thank you. And from there, I'm like, all right, this is like they're gonna like go up from here now. But we talked about this like 2 days ago, but just I think why like kind of like they're dropping this kind of like butter and dynamite is because the American, at least yeah, the like North American music industry, it's kind of like this constant pressure of like you have to keep releasing stuff to stay relevant, like, and if you like stop for like let's say almost a year, everyone will kind of like forget. Like some people will just kind of like forget like about BTS, and they kind of move on. So I feel like there's this pressure on them to be like, you gotta release a new song, you gotta release next because like I think what I've saw is like they didn't write Butter, and I think Dynamite as well. They didn't write it, so it's just like those
Yeah.
things.
Same.
That
Yeah. Those are yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so with the last two like English songs, and when they were announcing English songs, I was especially Butter, I was like, okay, so are they writing this song? Like, I would like to hear an English song that they write,
mhm,
because I'm sure they could do it. Um, Not saying that I need more English songs, because I
mhm,
love their music, their
mhm,
Korean music. Um, but it's to stay relevant, like you're saying, and they just they also want to be played more on the radio, and the Western industry over here is like it has to be in English, but yet we have so many Latin American artists that we
yeah,
play.
mhm. Just that
Think about
entire
that.
the entire Grammy
So it's
situation. I
just like
remember
really annoying.
the entire Grammy situation. I remember that entire situation going down.
Yeah.
Like if you're Army or a K-pop fan or everyone in general, you would at least heard like a little whisper of or heard of like what happened with the Grammys of them kind of like getting nominated and then getting hyped about it, and then they kept getting delayed. Like they're gonna perform, and then they only performed at the end of the show. They ended up winning the show or winning the award, like which like I'm glad like Gaga and Ariana Grande got it. Like I love respect them so much. This like Rain on Me is an amazing song, but at the same time though, like you put all this promotion into like BTS got the first K-pop group got nominated. They're gonna be performing blah blah blah, and they just kind of like there they are. Okay, next moving on. That's it.
And And like the category didn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Best group performance.
Yeah,
Like Ari and Lady Gaga aren't a group.
yeah,
It was so weird. It was just so weird. And that time too, they weren't airing like any of like the R&B, pop, and another category they can't remember. They weren't airing who was receiving those awards. They
yeah,
weren't showing those at all, which was
yeah.
really weird because they have shown them in the past.
hmm I just like that like kind of off topic with the Grammys. I'm glad like artists like Anderson Paak, Thundercat, Bruno Mars, like they got their awards. I feel like they deserve it a lot. But yeah, it's just that kind of thing was like at first it's just at least for me, to be honest, I was like Army, you should like I know Army's crazy. Like I understand you're mad. At least this is I can kind of go towards like my gripes with Army. Like I get your guys are mad. I understand that, but like I see like on like Twitter they like start trashing Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande and then like other artists like they deserve all the awards, like which I'm like, all right guys, like I understand you're mad, but at the same time though, like you'll get it next time is fine. And also, oh my gosh, I'm opening like this like Pandora's box of like kind of like my thoughts right now with Army because I kind of like, left it like kind
Yeah.
of enclosed. But I remember when it was award season in Korea, and like BTS again, they're sweeping the floor with a lot of the awards, which awesome, cool that they're getting it. But at the same time, like other groups have been dropping killer stuff too. Like I know like NCT
Yeah.
127, Stray Kids, Day Six, TXT, Treasure, like all these groups are like doing amazing things, and then if BTS ends up like sweeping the floor with Dynamite, an English song, and it's just like, hold on a second, like this isn't fair. This isn't fair at all. Like I feel bad whenever they do the music shows.
Saw that one, but I was watching the screen for that in the Korean show, and the award show, and I was like, wait, I was like, why did Dynamite win? I was like, what about these other songs that
Yeah.
are like, that I thought were better
Hmm.
for for the category it was choosing. I
Yeah.
was like, Dynamite doesn't really fit here.
Hmm.
So there's that too, where you have a group. They've become that group where like they constantly win,
Hmm.
and when they were kind of underdogs for like the longest time, and they weren't
Hmm.
winning, and so we were just like, oh come on, guys, like eventually you're gonna get something, and now they're getting like so many things to a point where you're also just like the top social artist. Every year, I'm like, it doesn't even matter because they're gonna
Yeah.
win.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I just remember seeing this. I can't remember which music show, like Music Bank or whatever, or M Countdown. But I remember, I think when Boy with Love came out, and it was just like you see all the groups behind them, and then BTS, and then everyone's just looking at each other like, "Well, we know who's gonna win. Let's just go home." It's just like that feeling. That's such a crappy feeling
Oh
to
yeah, they
feel that.
started leaving.
Yeah, they started like leaving, and then that was back when I think TXT just like debuted as well with I think either Crown or Cat and Dog, either one. But I remember them being there too. Like even just give it to TXT, like they like give it to them. Like
Mhm.
I get that it's a lot of like the fan votes, whatever. But at the same time though, you gotta like give it to the other groups. Not even like pity points, but like honestly, like I personally like the other groups like songs compared to like Boy with Love or whatever. It's just it's so unfair, at least for me. I remember I think it was the Asia Music Awards. I think best group. I can't remember which, like best group. Twice won, and I remember seeing people like, why didn't BTS get it? Why didn't Blackpink get it? And then I went on this little Twitter rant saying like, well, Seven came out, and that was kind of like underwhelming for me. And then the album Blackpink, that was kind of like just another like I kind of like found myself skipping a lot of the songs on
Mhm.
that. So it's just like Twice deserve it. Twice have been going long as well, and they've kind of been humble with that. And a lot of groups have been humble with it, but at least for me, Twice I feel like they deserve it totally.
I know you're watching the shows and you want to see like other groups win like Monster X or like I think Stray Kids did have a win a couple
Yep.
couple years ago last year or something. Um but just some of the I think Itzy got one too, but
Mm-hmm.
just some of the newer ones you would love to see like Everglow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Dreamcatcher has gotten any Luna, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, they finally got one win
So
for So What I think, but like after that, I'm like they gotta keep. I know they like I know other groups get wins, but I feel like for me as an Orbit, it was like it'd be cool to see them win. I haven't seen yet if the Paint the Town won anything, but yeah, it's just this constant kind of battle. Like you can't really beat Army, which is great. It's awesome. Army's great, but at the same time, like Army's. I guess for me because like I have like really harsh like kind of opinions when it comes to like I want to see groups do their best and like do like their 100% effort into it. But it's
mhm.
weird to see people be like stream butter, like get the top of the Billboard charts. But then I'm just like I'm looking at the Billboard charts right now. I'm like, no, I like these songs more than Butter. Like it's just at least that's for me.
Plus, Butter has been on there for 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times.
Same with Dynamite. It's
They've
just
been
it came out.
number one. I only I think it was three, four, can't
Mm-hmm.
remember. But usually with BTS comebacks, I only care for the first 24 hours. It is what it is. I only care
Yeah.
the first 24 hours. After
Exactly.
that, I'm like, cool, next.
It's like I'll still listen to, it, but now like I'm gonna have the video going on in the background for like for a month, and then like do all that kind of stuff. It's like I'm not about that.
Oh yeah, no, I think I think for Dynamite, I might have done that one for a week, but
Mm.
Butter, not really. I mean, people. I will. People have lives, and they do other things. But for some people, that is their life.
Hmm.
You know, voting and streaming and
Hmm.
buying all the albums and going to the concerts. Which, if you can afford to do that, good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Hmm. It was just been weird. I guess for me, I try to like besides talk to you and like maybe a handful of my friends are at the K-pop. I talk to really you guys about K-pop. I don't really dip my toes into like the fandom, like actually going to like Twitter or Reddit or whatever, just like try to like connect with other people, because the couple times I tried it, it just failed because it's just like these people were like, Jungkook, you gotta check out this fan cam, you gotta like all this stuff. I was like, I'm good. Like I think they're all handsome too, but like I'm not this level of other people are. It's insane. It's the best way I can describe it. It's insane. It's also
On
like
occasion,
it's 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 kind of weird because when when I try to like show K-pop to people, they just like to bring up the fans, like, oh, I haven't gone to K-pop because of the stands, whatever. But like, which at least for me, for my take on stands, it's just like every stand sucks. Like, every fan base sucks. They're gonna have those bad apples. Like I don't know, like you can't really go somewhere. So like when someone brings up that, I'm like, well, for me, for me, what I did, I just ignored the kind of the fans and just kind of listened on my own fruition. Like I don't like I just do listen to anything and then shared with people who are into it too. I don't go on Twitter and like stream blah 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 fan cam fan cam fan cam fan cam. I'm not about that. So at least for like when I introduce some friends like Haley and other people, they're like, K-pop's really good. Why did I visit? Like, oh yeah, because of the fans. That's why. I'm like, well yeah, the fans are like the kind of like a huge stopping point for a lot of people, I would say.
yeah. Which is a bummer because there's definitely like side where they are like chill or they're just like streaming, buying albums, want the best for artists. Not saying that the other half doesn't, but then there's also the really extreme side where they watch everything. They know like the whole schedule, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
know like everything, like every little thing about them.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's the sasaeng
The saw
fans
things. Yeah.
that track them, go on flights, meet them at airports. It's scary.
Protest when a
I
member
can't
gets
even
married.
imagine
It's crazy. Oh man.
that one.
If anyone doesn't know the context with
Like
that,
Enhypen, they weren't even debuted yet.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I guess the context for people who what I'm like don't know what I'm talking about. Exo's Chen, he recently got married and has a kid, and but a lot of people weren't okay with that, so they protested by staying outside of SM with like crossed arms and throwing like his photo cards and I think albums as well, saying like, "Get Chen out of here." I'm like, sorry, he's not gonna marry you. That's not never ever ever gonna happen. I don't know why you have that dream in your head. He's not gonna happen. Like, and I think SF doesn't care that you guys like are protesting out. It's like, guys, come on, really
And it's not
annoying.
like he's the only one that's married.
Mm-hmm.
There's other K-pop artists that are married. Rain's married. Um, there's what's his name from Big Bang? He's married.
Oh, I think Taeyang.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
he's married. There's like other group members that are married, and I think Big Bang one. I don't think there was much drama with that one
Mm-hmm. It's
when he got married.
just like dating. I know dating's like a huge thing in K-pop, where like I know some groups like you can't date for the next first 2 years of your debut, and like all that kind of stuff. It's weird. Like when that entire Kai and Jenny thing came out, I was like, oh hell yeah, go ahead guys, do it, do
Oh
you.
yeah,
And then but everyone's like,
yeah.
no, Kai, he's
I
gonna
thought it was so
marry me
cute.
in
Yeah.
5 years. It's gonna be me. I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen. It's like you only have to chill. Also, like when came out, Jihyo was dating Kang Daniel for a bit. That time, every time someone dates dating another group, like let them live their lives, man, and get rid of that dating
Yeah,
rule. It's dumb.
yeah, there's like if you watch award shows, like the group sitting next to each other, they don't really look at each other because they don't want to spark like rumors of
Yeah.
dating, which is ridiculous. Like you can't just be friends with people.
Hmm.
And then there's if you watch old ones, you can
Hmm.
see that there was more interactions with groups in the past than there are now, and they're more
Yeah.
careful about things, which is a bummer because you can tell they had way more fun and more like group performances with other groups together, like boy girl groups doing
Yeah.
songs together in the past, like covers of other songs. Like there was one of Lisa and someone from NCT, and it was I think it was Bruno Mars 24. If it
Um.
if it wasn't 24K, it was Uptown Funk. I can't remember, but it
Hmm.
was. There's also like a song that Jimin danced to, and then there was also a member from Red Velvet, and they were both like in that group dancing.
Hmm.
So it's a bummer because I would love to see more like songs featuring maybe people from other groups or like group performance types things, but then you have those stands that are like, no, he's mine or they're mine or like
Yeah, it's
things
uh
stupid stuff like that. Like they
like
own the person.
like the like we mentioned like before we recorded is listen to like the dive podcast, and especially the podcast with like Peniel from B2B, Ashley from Ladies Code, and then BM from Card. Ashley and Peniel like brought up as well like it's different now where like before you could interact with everyone and like kind of like don't worry about controversy. Well, now it's kind of like you have to be on your toes the entire time, and at least for me, if I was an idol, I'm a social butterfly. So for me, I would say like I don't care about the rules. I do what I want. Like, hey, what's up, bro? What's up, Taeyong? And like just like that kind of that would just be like I wouldn't. At least for me, I wouldn't care. I mean, I'd get into a lot of crap if I did, but honestly, for me, like I would be like chill with everyone. That's like I want to be friends with you. Like you find out about everyone's hobbies, whatever, and like
I
Jin's favorite
think
movie.
like the interaction,
Like Jin's favorite
yeah.
movie is The Matrix. I'm like, yo, I want to talk about The Matrix with Jin. Like, what the heck? That's awesome.
Yeah, we want to cook with Jin.
Yeah, I want to cook.
It'd
I want to cook with Jin. I want to hang out with Jay, play some League with him. Just like all those kind of things. Like, I want to hang out with everyone. Be sick.
I think like the only interaction we get is like, oh, this group's coming to sit down, so we got to stand up and bow,
Yeah.
or someone needs a blanket, like one of the girls needs a blanket. One of the girls will go get it, or like a guy will be super nice and
Hmm.
go get it and hand it to one of them. But even that can be mistaken as,
Yeah.
oh, he got her a blanket.
Mhm.
She's wearing a short
Yeah.
skirt. What do you
What do you
expect?
expect? That's why I love like
Or a dress.
I like the dive podcast because they have like Eric Nam who just like he's like again I noticed like a lot of like the American Korean American artists they're more kind of open with like obviously they have to follow the rules but at the same time they're like
Mhm.
hey let's hang out let's hang out. So like with Eric Nam's podcast they had oh my gosh what they have they had why am I drawing a blank right now. Oh no. Boom.
He's friends with
Momoland.
everybody. It's
Momoland.
great.
They had an episode with Momoland. That like there was like that was a really good episode, and he had an episode with the boys. That was another good episode.
Oh yeah.
Like I like those like dive podcasts because there's like their way of like, everyone on the dive podcast like all their podcasts like Jay and Alexa's. There's another one of those where they kind of just openly talk as much as they can about like their personal life and all that. That's just what I like. Just like
Mhm.
sometimes oh no like yeah sometimes like people forget they're actual people behind them. They're not just like perform song sleep. That's it. People know, but like they have like lives they want to
Mhm.
do themselves.
Yeah, I do really like that podcast because you get to see another side of them, and it's nice that they're allowed to like, do that.
Hmm. But yeah, I guess that's like just kind of where I am right now with like kind of the fandom in general. Like you guys are great. Like keep supporting your keep supporting your group and all that. Just like also just tone it down a little. Like honestly, it's like that's the best way I could like really say that. And then yeah, this like my that's my kind of like my thoughts with BTS. Where like I just think for BTS they just need to just chill out for a year like or do something because I know they keep extending Jin's military
Mhm.
enlistment to like now he's gonna keep going. Like I feel like I'm not saying like I'm not forcing him to go, but like if he feels comfortable going, then he should go. It's like it's weird for him. There's probably other people that got they get pardoned to like later on, but like I think it's weird for him to get like kept getting pardoned to like I don't know if that's the word, but he keeps getting like allowed to be push it forward more and more
Mhm.
of enlistment. Like I feel like the groups can like even go enlist for like 2 years, and I feel like I would be okay with that. Like as long as like I just need that. I just want them
Mhm.
for mental health wise because they talk about especially Yoongi. He like talks about it a lot about like mental health and all that. And just hearing that and then seeing them keep working, promoting, doing a McDonald's meal, doing all of that. It's just like guys, you need to like take a break. If I was honestly one of their close friends, I'm like,
Yeah.
if I was their manager, I'm like, or I was like, Mr. Bang, I'd be like, all right, guys, just please take a break. Like, you guys need it.
Well, they just got a new CEO, so
Oh yeah, if I was like
who
new
knows
CEO,
what's gonna
yeah,
happen.
if they like the new CEO, hopefully he would just be like, okay, guys, I'm new CEO. You guys need to take a break for like a year or two. Because I feel like it's just this again, like we said,
Yeah,
like this
I don't know. It's
constant,
probably.
it's like this constant pressure onto them. At least
Hmm.
I see for me.
I know it's like you said, they're always doing stuff that I can't keep up. Well, imagine being them. How
Yeah,
are they doing?
yeah. It's crazy. Just I can't imagine them, you know, having time. They probably do have time to themselves. But I feel like at least what we see through like social media, it could be another thing because social media is wild. You always see them always post something. I follow stan accounts, and there's always like they just did this performance at this show. They just did this special. Did all this. I just feel like there's no like break
Mhm.
in between. It's just this constant keep going, keep going.
And I thought COVID would be the break that they would need and they would get, but
Hmm.
does not look like that's the case
Yeah.
because they've just been working on projects nonstop.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But
So-
but yeah, I kind of that's kind of like I don't know if you have any more thoughts of like those kind of fans or just kind of like the dark side of K-pop in general. And I know there's like people who like to bring up like oh they're like manufactured, they never have breaks or they're just like constantly going like all that stuff. Like yes, like I hate to say it, like but it's the truth. It's like you see a lot of groups there,
Mhm.
the auditioning process and the training process. It's like I know they're trying their best to not do like the intense like train, do all that. But still, though, it's tough to not ignore that side with all of that.
With like with the like intense fans that can also lead to like stress on the artists. And I think this is another good area that we could talk about is where with the mental health it can lead to anxiety because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of groups where there'll be a comeback and they'll be missing a member or a couple of members and I'll be like, where is so and so? And they'll look it up and then like, oh, they're on break or like twice. Like for
Mm-hmm.
Feel Special,
Yeah,
when
when
I
Mina
read
came
what
back,
that
yeah,
song was actually about,
mm-hmm.
I was like sad. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, yeah. I was like, Mina. And it was anxiety, wasn't it?
yeah. And then Jungyeon, she went on a little break too. For that, when I think it was "Can't Stop Me" came out, she was out during that promotion. And then when "Alcohol Free" came out,
Yeah.
that's when she came back.
I noticed that too. Yeah, so like for Feel Special, there was I could just tell that there was just something different about the song. Like it just there was like emotion within like watching the MV. And then there was I don't remember when that came out, but there was like this Halloween performance live that they were doing and Mina was there and there was this point where you could tell she was just like struggling even though she was back. And so she like sits down, and then all the members just like came towards her and it was just like hard for her, bummer for her that she's like struggling, but it was just a sweet moment that they were all coming like to
Yeah.
her
Mm-hmm.
to see like to check on her to make sure like that she's okay.
Yeah.
You could tell that she was recovering.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I love that when like they're then groups like members are allowed to like leave for mental health because that's someone who shows mental health is going through therapy right now. I like respect that 100% that the
Mhm.
companies are allowed to let them do that. It's not they're like no deal with it and they keep promoting. Like they're allowed to leave. Like Hustle, she wasn't there for the
Mhm.
past three comebacks I think for Luna, like and she's still in the group and it's amazing. So it's like this huge awesome moment when she's finally back for Paint the Town and Paint the Town's like this like let's kick ass like this like kind of pump up song and she's in it. It's like yes, you're back, let's do this. It's like yeah, for like that and especially for BTS, like the entirety of the Love Yourself trilogy, there's just attacking that kind of thing with self-love and loving yourself. There's just that is amazing in the story with Love Yourself Answer, with how the rappers you notice like the was it Let's Dance or Just Dance to Love to seesaw. You see
Mhm.
that kind of progression of like they are in love with this person, but then
Mhm.
as uh, love comes, and just you see as it's kind of like falling apart, and the seesaw is kind of this, it's over, and then tears just anger. Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing with the vocal line solo songs. It's like that gradual, like it's happy, and then again just goes down like this darker theme with it.
Yeah, like Truth Untold.
Yeah, it's just those
Yeah.
things like I miss from. I know BTS. I know they could write whatever they want. Yes, but like I just for me personally, I miss when they did songs like that where they told this story. And I know they probably want a break from talk about sad stuff. I totally understand that, but yeah,
Yeah. But some of their music, good music is the sad stuff. I
yeah,
hate to say it, but
it
it
is.
is.
That's what sells too. Like I don't know.
The more real and
Yeah.
raw. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so that's I think now gr companies are getting better at letting their artists, like acknowledging, oh, they are going through something mental health and they need a break. So let
Mm-hmm.
them like take care of their health. So I think they're getting better at that as it was not that much in the past where you would hear about, oh, someone's taking a 3-month break or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things that can be improved, but I think it's better than it was. Um, I don't know if you want to get into like cultural things because there's also that aspect of K-pop
Oh yeah,
too.
there's that side as well, which like at least I understand. Like I can't really have a say in it because it's a weird topic. Like for me personally, like I understand where they're coming from. I understand like a lot of K-pop artists, and I've recently the controversy with Jay Park. It's like, what are you doing, man? And it's just
Mm,
that's like the best way I could say. Like when they do like the dreadlocks or they do like that, like those kind of stuff. It's just like, is
yeah.
anyone in the fashion or like the designer of the for the group ever like looked up like the reasoning behind why that's this? It's just weird for me, especially at this point in K-pop where it's like really big when everyone has their eyes on it.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like this, it's obviously gonna like
Hmm.
veer some people off of K-pop too. Like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, I was shocked because I was like, wait, isn't he from the States? Didn't he
Yeah,
grow up in the States? I was like, what's going on? I was
yeah.
so confused. Um, and I saw this TikTok video where she was like talking about the J Park thing, and she was like, "Oh, I wish there was an artist that loved the hip hop culture,
Oh yeah,
but honored the like yeah, the black culture and the
yeah. Mm-hmm.
music and the fashion and things like that." And then she's like, then she shows like August D,
Yeah, Deshita. Yeah.
and it was Deshata. She's like, "Ah," because that was like a good example of showing someone who it has all those things, but he's not like like he's not uh disrespecting or culture appropriating,
Mm-hmm.
so there's ways you can do it. You don't have to. I don't know why he wore the dreadlocks, and other groups have done this too, like oh, people who are going to be mad about this, but anyways, I'm just going to say it, like EXO, Call Me Baby, or not Call Me Baby, Coco Bop,
Coco Bob. Yeah, Kai did it.
Kai
Yeah.
had dreads in
Yep.
that one. And then NCT, oh, which one is it?
I can't remember which one he did it.
127.
I can't remember who was it. I'm trying to remember right
Um,
now.
I I know who it was. I'm just trying to remember the song. I don't think it
I
was Seventh Sense. It was
I know NCT Dream. I think Boom
maybe it
Boom
was no.
Renjun. I think it was Renjun that had like the dreadlocks in that
Really?
one too. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, he had like the red dreads. I think that was the
Okay.
one.
There's an NCT 127, an older song. It's like a dance version, just like a they're in this black studio type black background, but
Oh,
then at
okay,
one
okay,
point it's like
yeah,
red. But I think it was Mark. I think it was Mark. He had like the poofy hair. It was
okay,
like bleached.
yeah.
Like I think it was Mark, unfortunately. But
Oh man,
yeah.
the Canadian
So
boy.
you stumble upon instances of like the hairstyle. Yeah. Um, And it's I so I can't speak on this because I've never experienced any of this, but I what I can say is I don't think people should be telling other like people of color and black K-pop stans how to feel about it.
Yeah.
Like saying, "Oh, like it's okay," because it's really not
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
So there's like that aspect too. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I did see, I don't remember which company it was, not one of the big four, but the big four should do this, is there was this company that was intro showing I don't know if it was design or style team or what I think it was a group, like I think it was a trainee group. They were showing them what culture appropriation was,
Yeah.
and then they were showing them like what's okay and what's not okay. And they're showing like hairstyles and like other things. And I was like, see, you guys are setting an example. Now let's have other people do this too.
Yeah.
Because people in the comments are like, oh, well, they didn't know. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, you can look it up.
I was gonna say like it's weird for them to like they didn't
So
know
they need
like
to,
they have all this research that they can do, especially now that America is more paying attention to K-pop. Like, yes, like you, it's like kind of like
yeah.
you need to.
I think they should have it be a required training,
Yes,
like a
hundred
class
percent.
that they all like that the groups go um into and then also the choreography and the set design and the yeah, especially set design and stylist because this
Mm-hmm.
remember there was something in like a Blackpink video that was like
Oh
um
yeah, yeah. I think I know what you're
think it
talking about.
it
I
was like
think
a yeah,
and how you like
yeah,
that
I think it was in How You Like That. I think it was like
with Lisa's part. I
yeah.
remember.
So there's like things like yeah, there was something in the background like a statue, an idol or something like from I don't know if it was Hindu, but it was some religion
Yeah.
and stuff like that that they could easily avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So then you don't have people being like, that's disrespectful, and it is
Yeah.
that they could avoid if they would have had this conversation with their company, with the groups training. And so then you don't have idols saying things and not knowing what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Especially like there was the Black Lives Matter and there's people were annoyed like, oh, why isn't BTS speaking about this? And then we find out they donated money.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about other groups. So like, why aren't other groups talking about this? Well, their company is not going to let them talk about this.
Yeah.
So,
Or we at least we don't
yeah.
know. Maybe they did, and they're just not like being like open about like redonate. Maybe they just did it for it. Like I don't like there's like those kind of things. Like I
Yeah.
don't
So
know.
there's stuff that can happen in private. It's like maybe they are having conversations with their like manager and their like group, but not everything has to be like broadcasted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just weird with like that
But
entire.
I know like for the Korean American artists,
It's just weird with like the culture, with
oh,
how
I
the
know for the
culture is
Korean,
now. It's just
I know.
how it's so like strict with
Yeah.
everything. Like how some members aren't allowed to have their own
Mhm.
profile, Instagram profiles. They're not allowed to date. They're not allowed to do this. It's like these are people too. Like this guy, like I mean, like for example, Mingyu from 17. We were born on the same day and same year, which I always like to flex. Like I say like we're twins, but it'd be cool to see like stuff like from him or like anyone else, just like kind of like vlog or just like kind of give like their like what they're going through, like those kind of stuff. Like I wish like I know companies are being more open to letting groups have their own profiles, letting them do vlogs and do all that, but it's just nice to see that happen more and more now. And you still haven't seen like BTS; their members don't have their own profiles yet. But it's weird with that industry how it is.
I feel like for them, they just wouldn't have time,
Yeah,
Like when Blackpink all got theirs, I was like, oh, this is cool. They post like every day. And then
yeah.
NCT, they're slowly starting to get all of them get their own Instagrams and they post
Three out of
a
24,
lot.
21 of
So
them, but
yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting too, that like some of the groups they have their own Instagram. But I wonder like what are the rules? Like probably like no open DMs
Yeah.
or just careful about DMs, I guess. And then it has to be public so they can have all those followers, but then they probably it either shows if they're following one, it's either other band members or the like their company they work for. Or it's nobody, or they're following nobody.
I that just reminded me, um, back when Johnny first released his Instagram, sent a screenshot of me watching Kick It when it first came out. His response, like a screenshot, and I'm like, "This song slaps, man." And I was like, maybe he'll see it or not.
I remember I like messaged Got Seven's official thing because oh poor Got Seven. But they're in a better place now.
Yeah.
Their comeback for Last Breath, I think, or Last Piece. Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like to the official page, I was like, hey, why is this a story? Why isn't this? And I still have the message. I was like, why isn't this on the main page so we can hype it up?
Yeah.
And then I was finally like, you know what? If you don't promote your group, I will do it.
Yeah, that's like that entire thing. That was a
It's just so frustrating.
JYP just did them dirty for their last comeback. And it's just, I don't know. Like it's there's like the thing. Like, is
Hmm.
it actually JYP himself doing this, or is it the management? I feel like it's a mix of both that is like responsible for it. But it's just that entire thing was
It's
such a
both.
weird.
It's not solely just
It's just a weird situation with that. It's like either way, you guys should have common sense when it comes to that stuff. Like groups don't have to come back. We're gonna promote it, not what they did. They showed one thing and that's it. Like one promo picture and that's it. And you see like twice in ITZY, Stray Kids getting all this promotion, then them got seven, just get like one little thing.
yeah, okay, so I went to JYP Entertainment's Instagram page when the last uh breath like one picture promotion was going on to see like okay, is there anything on here? Nothing, and all I see was it like Stray Kids is promoting themselves and then ITZY was all over there. I was like, what is this, an ITZY fan
Yeah,
page? Because it was like post after post after post. It was ITZY, and I like ITZY too, but I was like, I want to see some GOT7 stuff.
yeah. And then I guess like at least for me, like one of the more I don't want to say controversial, but just with Blackpink in general, just that entire thing going on with them back when YG was going through that entire situation with Seungri from Big Bang, and then YG end up tax
Yeah.
evasion. It's just like what has happened now. It's not YG anymore doing the CEO stuff, but still, it was weird because Blackpink was kind of like stuck in the middle with all of this because they haven't had a comeback in a while. They had Kill This Love and they kind of disappeared for almost a year. And I remember they did like the live streams, and then they're asking like people ask like, "Well, what have you been doing, Jenny?" Like, "Oh, I just been watching Netflix. That's all we have. That's all we could do." I'm like, "Oh, like awesome, great. You have a break." But same, like I see them wanting to do a comeback, and then I see like back when they're kind of like not doing stuff. I keep seeing the Blackpink page like, what was it? One of their like do finally hit 10 million views. Like, they do those kind of posts. Like this video got as if it's your last got this many views. Like okay, cool, but like
Yeah.
when's the next comeback gonna happen? And you watch their documentary on Netflix, and you learn more about them, and you're like, you can see they're hardworking people, but the problem is their company is not doing that great of a job of even promoting them. Like they're the biggest next to BTS, one of the biggest K-pop groups right now. Like at least for me, I see like yeah, we gotta
Mhm.
like show them off. We gotta show why they're the greatest. But the problem is like they do one thing and then they kind of disappear for a bit.
Yeah, I watched that documentary and I got to learn. I knew more of Lisa's background story and then a little bit about Jenny, but I didn't know about like Rose or Jisoo. So it was
Mm-hmm.
really, really good to watch that. And if you guys haven't watched already, you should watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good documentary. Highly recommend. So like Rose, we got like two songs. Is she getting an album or what? And
Yeah,
like Lisa, I haven't had a comeback, haven't
yeah.
had a solo project.
Mm-hmm. And then Jisoo I think is doing a K drama right
We
now,
talked
so
about
that's
this
what they're
too,
doing.
like and how we were so excited to get an album, first of all, but then I was like, why is this called the album? Because I just thought it was funny. Like, why
Yeah,
are you calling it the album? And then And then it was very like uh poppy, um
It felt rushed. I think that's the best way
kind
to.
of clubby.
I feel like they
Not
didn't
clubby. What's it? Not clubby, but
like. I think for me it just I feel like it wasn't them. I know like groups a lot of another thing people have like their gripes with K-pop is like they don't really write their own songs. But I know Blackpink always brought up like, oh, we wrote this song, we wrote this song, but it felt like they kind of didn't have hands in it. And then that Cardi B song, I'm like, what? Why is she even here? And then those kind of things, or just like I found myself, I can't remember like on top of my head, can't remember like the songs off that album. It's just yeah, I don't know.
yeah, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I was not expecting this to sound um, American. I was looking for like kind of some of their old stuff like Boom
Mm-hmm.
Whistle, Stay. Like I really like Stay.
Yeah,
Stay is
stays
really
good.
good. I so yeah, I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting, but I liked some of the songs, but it was just, we were expecting something different. And again, they were probably trying again for the Western market, but I don't know. Did you say it did not that great in Korea?
Um, I think it did.
I haven't
I
looked.
haven't really looked
I don't
into
know how
that,
well.
but I remember a lot of like, I think we talked about this like when we first started talking how like we didn't really like the album. I tried my best to, like, that album, but I ended up just like
Mhm.
kind of skipping most of the songs on the on the album.
The style was Some of the style was different, but it wasn't. To me, it wasn't really them
Yeah.
for some of the tracks.
Hmm.
So, I know some of the stuff they wrote. Um, I think, let me see. There was a few songs on there. You Never Know is a good one. I like
Hmm.
that one. Rose.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a slower one. I tend
Hmm.
to like more of the slower songs.
Yep.
So that one was pretty good. Okay, Pretty Savage was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I would like to, for them being around for so long, they only have one album. We need more music.
Exactly. I remember there's a clip of them on their tour, and then Jenny's like, "I wish we could do more songs." And they're like, because when I remember when I saw them, they basically went through their entire discography, essentially. Besides, like maybe like they didn't do 2 or 3 songs, but I feel like they just went through the entire thing. All right, but it's weird that they can't. It's not like BTS where they could like kind of like handpick kind of that like the songs.
Yeah, and you get to that once you have like a certain number of albums, and they don't have they just have the one.
Yeah.
I guess, well, wait, what about Square Up? Or is that a mix of like other songs?
Scrub, I think it's a mix of like their other songs. I know the album for Kill This Love had like new songs as well, but besides that though, yeah, I'm not really sure.
I think they've had a mini album, and then this was the first full album.
Hmm.
So so yeah, here's to hoping that we can get some more music from them. I always like seeing Lisa has her own little channel. She's doing like dance, um,
Oh yeah.
choreography and covers and making up things. So
Hmm. It's like it's just that's where I am right now with like kind of like the big groups of K-pop. Like I want them to do good and all that, but I feel like there's kind of like this pressure
yeah.
when it comes with like the Western audiences. Like I just kind of like going into more of like YG in that entire storm. I just remember when
Yeah.
Treasure was supposed to debut, but then that was right when that entire thing was going down. So like I say they were like basically locked in a basement till like they eventually did a comeback. Like they did the entire survival show, that and then they like okay we're
Call it
gonna
the YG dungeon.
yeah, then the YG dungeon, like they're like set to go do the debut, but then that entire thing happened, and then I guess COVID as well. So it's just like I can imagine, and even one of the members left because of just what was happening. So it's just like those kind of things. It's just I'm glad that he's not the CEO anymore. It would be a weird thing if he was
Mhm.
still in charge of that.
And sometimes you forget. Oh, I was just saying that, and sometimes you forget who's in military till they come back, and then the group has come back, and you're like, oh, they were. If it's a bigger group, you're like,
Yeah,
oh, they were gone.
that's like EXO. That was like EXO especially.
Um,
I forgot like Schumann, Dio, and I can't remember who else. But I know Chen is still in the military. But like, oh, they're back, and Dio's like my bias. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, my egg boy is back.
Such a good voice.
And then like
Yeah.
I didn't know till B like the Get Real podcast with BM and them, and just like one of the members of Card is in the military right now, so that's why they haven't been promoting. So like, oh, really? He's in the military. Like, okay, cool, makes sense. BM's like killing it though with his solo stuff, like 13 IVI, like that song that came out. I'm like, yo, this guy's going off. I've been waiting for this.
Does he have like, is it a mini album,
I think now it's
EP
official.
or
I think it's
anything?
official now
Like,
that
is it
he's
more than
released
one
an
song?
album. Because I know he released that other song and then
Oh,
Broken, and then now he just released 13 IVI. I know that's the thing. I think that's a kind of him announcing, yeah, and like an EP coming out. I'm not sure, but all I know is like that song slaps. Keep going. BM, Matthew, if you're listening, I want you to be on my show. Please be my workout partner
I would
too.
love
I
to
need to be
see
fit like you.
not no, you want someone to work out with Wano.
Oh man, that's true.
Go die at the gym.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh. Yeah. I tried out his workout and I was like, I was so sore the next day. It's intense.
I think this week I'm starting
It's not as bad as I thought it was,
I
but
think this week I'm
yeah.
starting BM's. He has like this videos like the 4 minute workout or like the 8 minute workout you do, and like I've seen him do it, and like because I used to work out, so I was like I did majority of those things. But I feel like my body now I'd be like dying.
Yeah, COVID, we're just like all inside, just like so the comfort of our own rooms and our
Yeah,
houses are just like
and Uber eating everything.
active. What's that? Going outside? What's that? Mm, yeah, before we like wrap up, I guess scandals. Scandals is another thing where it's so interesting on how companies deal with that too.
Yeah,
Like someone's getting kicked out or someone's on leave and then they come back. And sometimes we know why and sometimes we don't. Like Stray
yeah.
Kids, like the when
Behind
there
it.
was when there was no before that when there was nine of them.
Oh, Woojin. Yeah, it was
Woojin,
Woojin. Man, that was like I
Woojin.
think one of those things that actually like
Yeah.
bummed me out a lot. Like hearing about that when he first got kicked, because at the time he was my bias or my bias record. Stray Kids. I'm like, yeah, he's great, and then he gets kicked out. I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. And then you find out all the things that happened with him. And I'm like, I'm just gonna walk away from this.
I don't even know what's true. I don't or what's not true, and I don't even know what happened. It's just so weird. Um, so it's just weird for stuff like that or stuff like drug related because like you said, the cultures they're strict
Yeah.
and like BI from
Oh,
Icon
yeah, that one
and
sucked a
then
lot. I
you
remember that
got
one.
like you got like yeah, oh my God. And then Wano from Monster X. And then I don't know if you ever listened to Pentagon, but
Oh yeah, because one of the members
well,
was
he's
dating.
not Edon anymore. He's just Don.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because he was dating Hyun now. So that's like along the dating thing, like just let them date.
yeah,
Like, but now they are happily at P Nation
yeah.
with Psy.
Man, shout out to P
So it's
Nation.
fine. They're doing
P
great.
Nation is goaded. I would say P Nation is like out of all the groups. I
Yeah.
feel like because Psy is he's still an idol, but he is having like an idol be like the CEO, so he knows like the all of the like those kind of stuff and how to like treat their artists. So it's like I see Psy like I remember in some interviews with Jesse, she brings up how Psy is a great person to be around. Like it's like stuff like that makes me happy that they're in good hands.
I Like if I had to choose a company, I think I would want to be in his
Yeah,
company.
P Nation.
That would
Yeah.
be the one I would want to be in.
Hey Sai,
He
you
just
want to say Sai you need a guy?
yeah, he just seems like do you need a vocalist?
Yeah, you need
Or do you
you know
need someone to make your like promotional
you want to call my
art?
podcast
Because
Sai?
I'll do it.
You need a podcast. You need a designated podcast guy. Yeah, I got you, man.
So he just seems like the best person to be like having taking care of people and promoting. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. There was, of course, the Big Bang
Oh, there's some great.
YG
Which at this point, I don't know who to believe now.
scandal,
Like,
which was the last investigation. I don't either.
like I remember on Twitter, there was like a one day it's like free Sungri or like Sungri deserves respect and all that, and if you're like he wasn't part of the controversy, blah blah blah. I'm like, so I'm here in the middle, like I don't know who to believe, so I just like kind of like not be a part of that anymore.
Yeah, there's this great YouTube channel if anyone wants. I get all the tea from this channel if I'm ever just like, oh, I wonder what's going on in like the K-pop world or just like news in South Korea. And it's called DKDK
Yes,
TV.
DKDK
And it's
TV.
these two guys from South Korea.
Yep, they're great.
I've been watching them for so long. And so
Yep, same.
they do this episode of DKDK TV news. And it's so yeah, they just keep me updated if I ever want to know what's going on. And some things are hilarious and ridiculous, but some things are sad too, because they will also cover like actors or even idols that have like passed away because
Yeah,
of like suicide. So they do
yeah.
cover the like harder topics too, and they bring light to that stuff too.
Hmm. Just I guess touching on like that,
Mm.
like not really scandal, but like mental health. It's just like Tyler Junghyun from Shiny. Like I remember when that was first like coming out. I was like at the time I didn't really listen to Shiny, whatever. But like listen to Shiny now and then listen to Junghyun's last album before he passed away. And like I cried listening to that because it's just, you could tell like a lot of people were showing videos like him kind of like struggling, but no one really kind of noticed like those kind of things. And then Sully from FX, like that as well. There's probably other ones as well, but like those two. And Junghyun is still my favorite K-pop vocalist, I would say, because just like watching old Shiny videos and hearing him
Mhm.
sing, it's like it's special. It's unique, really unique. It stands out from a lot of like the singers out there.
Yep. And it's those groups like Shiny, they still remember their member.
Hmm.
I think they talked about it in a live, and I think they did something in remembrance of him in one of the songs or something.
Oh yeah.
Um, just things like that. So,
I just remember seeing their first show like back as like Shiny after Junghyun's passing. It's weird because they're doing
yeah,
a show in
yeah.
Japan and they just leave an empty spot for him the entire show. And it's like if you like know the context, you're like oh my gosh, that's it's just it
Yeah,
hurts. It hurts a lot
yeah,
like with that. And then they did their last song and they have
yeah.
like an empty mic stand there for him. It's just like those things too.
If you watch the MV for 8 by Suga featuring IU,
Yep.
there's when she's in the like machine in the AI, she's watching the virtual reality
Mm-hmm.
VR. Um, there's a dragon, I think, and then like a lizard or something. There's another creature with like IU, and she was apparently really close to Sully.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if it's true, but like this there's this backstory of that the dragon and the lizard are both like the Joyeon and Sully,
Mm-hmm.
and like then the song is really nice, and then you watch the MV and you listen to the lyrics and you're like, wait a second, this song is actually sad.
Mm-hmm.
And you see in her virtual VR that she's with these two creatures and she's remembering the past, and like
Mm-hmm.
when she wait before she wakes up, you see that she's crying
Yeah.
because she's living in past memories.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
She's
That's
reliving
crazy.
past memories.
I just remember when
Mm-hmm.
Sully passed away, and I think it was Heechul. He did because Sully had a cat, and I guess Heechul he took care of it, and he was streaming. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is Sully's cat. Like I want to take care of her." Blah blah blah. Like oh man, like like that was kind of stuff. You know, like I miss them every day, especially Jonghyun, because like seeing I know he's proud of like them where Shiny is now. Like they're crazy how like Shiny's doing now.
It's yeah, it's just just really hard when you hear about that on the news and you look at like whatever that person last posted on Instagram, trying to see of like, oh, where when you can't tell if someone's struggling, it's just like really sad when
Hmm.
that it had to come like that it ended that way.
Hmm.
So those are the two that I know of. I don't know if there's like other people that have passed away that I don't know about
Hmm.
that haven't been brought to light, but those are the two that I think of. So
Hmm. I'm just like I'm glad that it's coming
yeah.
more of light with mental health. Again, bringing back that topic of mental health, is like you have Yoongi with August D, the entire first EP, and then second one talking about like tackling those topics, and then RM's entire album that came out with like Forever Rain, Soul, like that entire Soul album. It's just I remember when that came out, that was around the I guess the time because when BTS won, I think Mama 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they had like speech where all of them are crying because Jin brings up like we were about to call it quits at that point, and I guess that's when RM was writing that album. It was like during that time, so you hear like him struggling with that. You just see I just not applaud or just like I respect kind of like they're allowed to like be open about it. They're not just like they have to hold it back just to hold this happy image for everyone. It's good to like they're able to like speak their mind is like the best way I could describe it. They're able to speak their mind about all that.
Yeah, I remember watching that speech and they were just like all going through it. And if you look at Love Yourself Tear,
Mm-hmm.
that album was the album where they were like thinking after this, like we're done. Like
Yeah,
I think we're possibly gonna be done.
yeah,
Like Tear, if you
yeah.
listen to that song specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like
Same
like
thing with there's like Face Yourself,
yes,
the Face Yourself album.
yep.
There's a song on there called Let Go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even make that connection with that song because it says I'm ready to let go. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like that. Basically, the other topic with BTS, like they deserve that break because they have moments like that where they want to call it quits. Like, because I feel like there's at that, especially that time when they were like booming, like a lot of like buzz about them. And I feel like there's pressure on them, and I feel like all of those things where they want to like just call it quits. And for me, I'm not telling them to quit, but if they did
Mhm.
quit tomorrow, I'd be okay with that because I feel like they've they've done done their time. They've done like a lot of things that they wanted to do, and I feel like even if they didn't win all those awards, like even if they just like broke up tomorrow, I'd be like okay with it.
I think the people who have gotten into them over COVID, have gotten introduced to them and discovered them, probably would be like, but I just got into them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been listening to them for like 3 or 4 years, so I'd be like, okay, like I have this many years of experience with them, and as we know, like how long they've been working, and we've seen the efforts and the struggles. We'd just be like, okay, that's like, yeah, this a bummer a little bit, but you also need a break.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so the Butter is actually an album. I didn't know it was getting like an
I
actual
didn't know
album.
I didn't know
Like
either till
like
like
there's more than one song.
until in like that K-pop group chat we're in. We're just like I didn't know that was the entire thing with like a song with Ed Sheeran, and there's like two other songs. I'm like oh, moving on. That's like kind of like my thoughts. That's kind
Oh,
of
it's just two other songs.
I think so. I haven't like really looked, but I just know that they're doing a song with Ed Sheeran, and
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
I don't know how many tracks. Okay. See, I was like, I already bought the B album, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna buy this one
Mm-hmm.
because I want like another full album from
Mm-hmm.
them, but something new.
Yep.
So I don't think I'm gonna buy Butter. Um, because it's probably more of like they're doing collabs with like American artists or something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, right?
Yep.
Probably gonna be unless I hear that there's some other Korean tracks on there,
Yeah.
the and depending on how many are on there, then maybe, but I don't think I'm gonna buy this one.
Honestly, like
I might just go online and buy the photo cards
yeah.
for it. I might just buy the photo cards for it because that's
Mm-hmm.
all I really want.
Honestly, I just forgot that like um they haven't. I was gonna say like, they didn't do really good songs with like American artists, but like I forgot when they did BTS World, they released that album. That's like I feel that's underrated, highly underrated.
Yes.
If you're a BTS fan, you listen to BTS World because they did collabs with Charlie XCX, Juice World, and like a couple other artists. But I personally thought they nailed it with those. They're English songs, but I feel those because that was like in the middle of like in between Seven and I think Love Yourself like era, like in between those. But I feel
Mhm.
those are amazing songs. I still listen to the one with Charlie XCX a lot and with Juice World. Like those songs are amazing to me.
Oh yeah, it's it's Dream Glow. So I've got Brand New Day, and I think that her name's Zara Larson.
Oh yeah, Zara Larson.
Is
Yeah,
it? Something Larson. Yeah, Zara Larson. And it's got V and J-Hope. And I was like, this is the collab I didn't know I needed, and this is great. So I really like that song, Brand New Day. But yeah, it's underrated and it's really good.
mm-hmm. Just like I like that just brought up that entire album. I remember when that first came out. I didn't really think about it, but then I was listening to it like. There's so many bangers on this for a mobile game. This was like all promotion for their mobile game. It was like they didn't have to go this hard on it.
I know.
I remember playing that for like a solid
It
like
was,
3 months.
it was
You
great.
managed BTS. It's great.
Talking about like when they're collabing with other people. So sometimes I feel like they don't need, well, they don't need to, but it's because of radio play.
Yeah.
Do so they get played on the radio. So they can like when they did Idol with Nicki Minaj, they did
Oh
that
yeah,
so they
that
could
entire
get
thing.
radio played. And then the Sia with Sia for
Yeah.
On,
Yeah.
she didn't do much vocally. Love
Yep.
her, but she didn't do much vocally.
Same with Halsey.
Radio play with Halsey, radio play.
Yeah. That's
Yep,
just like
radio
one verse and
play.
that's it.
Um, yep. So I would like to have a track on there, have a radio play a song that's just Korean with just them.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if they played like Black Swan or anything when it came out, but I think mostly, oh, I think Life Goes On. I think they were playing
Yeah.
Life Goes On
Yeah. I think life goes on.
when the album came out. I think that was the first one. But yeah, they don't them themselves don't need a feature, but they have to so that they can get played, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate on the
Yeah.
radio.
Again, like how
But the
weird it
best one, the
works.
best one was when Zach was interviewing them saying, "So you're in the same company as Justin Bieber. Is that a dream?" And then RM's like, "It's not a dream. Um, we're friends. We're in the same company, so call us friends." So,
Yeah. I remember yeah, I remember hearing that and I know Jungkook is a fan of Bieber, but like yeah, it's just now that it's like now people are having these imaginations like they must collab together, but it's like I feel like it should be their own fruition if they want to or not.
mhm. And then let's talk about briefly clout. People will use them for clout,
Oh
like
yeah.
Savage Love, Jason. That was for clout.
Jason Derulo. Yeah, that
That
entire
was for clout, and it's a bummer because I actually really like their version. I like the remix version
mm-hmm.
with them on it.
Jungkook swears it's crazy. Like
I liked Hobie.
chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, Chicken Noodle Soup with Becky G. I liked Hobie and Suga's Yoongi's verse on Savage Love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Yoongi Blueberry Eyes with
I would say
Max.
a
Good.
like
I
a
love
collab
that.
that feels natural. Max, especially Max, he's like an amazing art. Like I started getting into him because I listened to interviews he did. He was on Eric Nam's podcast and a bunch of other people's like K-pop reactors things, and then you could tell Max's
Mhm,
friendship with Yoongi is like real. It's natural. With like Jason
mhm.
Derulo's to quickly bring it up, Jason Derulo's like, yeah, we collabed with a bunch of artists and that was it. That's just like what he said. With Max, he's like, we went to a Lakers game together. We hung out when I was in Korea. We did all these things together. Like those things,
Mhm.
it's great. I think one of those prime examples, like it should feel natural. Like Halsey, even
Yeah.
Halsey's
And
friendship with
then there
them is
was
natural
this
too.
other collab. Yeah, yeah. There was this other collab with Jason. but they weren't ever in the same shots. It was
NCT.
like at
I think I know
different
what you're talking about.
locations, but they were all on the same track. It was Jason, NCT 127, and it was Lay. It
Yeah,
was
that was the weirdest
oh, what
collab
was it?
I saw. That was
Yeah,
such
it
an
was
odd
that.
that was
Yeah.
such an odd thing that happened.
The for some reason the title of the song is blanking on me. I think it's Shut Up and Dance. No?
Let's shut up and why is shut up and dance in capitals? Chill. It's like let's shut up and dance. That's
Shut
like
Up.
the yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was I was not expecting that collab to happen, and I did like that one too. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you're gonna collab with someone, at least recognize who else was on the track with you.
Yeah. It's just like Max is a really good example of like collabing with like artists, and then recently collab. I think he collabed with Jay from Day Six and Eric Nam. I could be wrong, but I know they were like they had some working to get like hanging out or talking to each other recently. Like those things, like Max, like he goes out of his way to like befriend everyone and actually get to know them and not just see like a huge check at the end of it. He just like wants to be friends with them. Like I want as much as I want to see people like artists here collab them. It is I just want it to be natural. That's like the main thing.
I will I would love to see Max in concert. I'd go see him.
Yeah. So I think was it? I think
I
when Max
I
came to
listened to
Korea,
his album.
I think when Max came to Korea, I think one of the
Mhm.
members from BTS were there. I could be wrong, but I remember him saying something along the lines of that.
I think he has an album called Colors. I think
Hmm.
that's what it's called. I can't remember
Yeah, me
off the
too.
top of my head, but he's sitting on like it looks like a Rubik's Cube, but it's
Oh
not.
yeah, yeah.
That album is really good, and I listened to his old stuff too.
Hmm.
It's a good album.
It's crazy he's not as big. Like I know he's getting like a lot of like plays right now, but it's crazy. Like this, it's like even in music in general, like these like little artists are making bangers, but it's not really getting the recognition they deserve. It's like Max. I see Max like getting bigger in the future, or even now he's actually like killing it.
Yeah. He is, yeah. Slowly getting up there, and he's like a young dad. Like his,
Yeah.
I don't know how old his daughter is now, but she's, yeah, so cute. So
Hmm.
he's just a young person with a small family and writing music, really good music.
Hmm.
Have you watched any of his videos?
I've only
Like
seen
Blueberry Eyes,
I
and then
only
I
see
think he
Blueberry
just had
Eyes.
one come out last week. You should watch Butterflies
Okay.
because that's like a part two of but to Blueberry Eyes.
Hmm.
It's cool.
I feel like it's a good stopping point.
Okay.
Do you have any final thoughts at all with just in K-pop in general, or do you want to shout anything out? You do cool art.
Um, thanks. Um, I'm happy that it's brought so many people close together, especially with my Discord channel, because I have a few people here and there to talk about it, but it's nice when you have a group, and I like that more people are getting into it, and in the States it's growing and all over the world. So I just hope that it continues to grow, but that people, you know, grow to love it and respect, the culture that it comes from too.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm just happy to see K-pop get the recognition it deserves. Just like a lot of people are being more open with it. Yeah, they have those people who are like kind of like against it for whatever weird reason. But yeah, I'm just keep doing what you're doing. BM again if you want to be on my podcast, let me know. DM me, do what you need to do. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Do you have any thoughts at all? Please leave in the comments down below. And thank you for watching.